Good morning. Um, Trying to see where we are with this. It looks okay. Maybe go back a little bit. Go up a little. Saturday. Here we are. Hope you all had a pleasant Friday. Um, Trying to think if anything happened. Nothing really happened yesterday. Just regular stuff. So sit and breathe just for a little bit until we get started. Okay, let's begin. Hi, Key. Hi, Dora. Hi, Dave. And hi, Ruth. Um, so I think today we're going to talk about letting go. So we speak about letting go in a lot of different contexts in yoga. What I can um, so at the most basic, maybe the breath. We're inhaling and we're exhaling. So we're letting go, bringing it in, and then we're letting that air back out. Um, so when we think of breath, there's actually an exchange going on, right? So we're bringing in the air, we're taking the oxygen from the air, and we're you know, making this transfer so that the air that comes out is different from the air that came in. Um, and that's how it is with many things, right? We consume, we absorb from people, from things, interactions that we have. And then there has to be an exchange where then we release those things again. Um, and we want to be, if we are aware of that, if we're conscious of how that can happen, we can use that in some very productive ways. So um, we talk about this with the breath. So breathing in and then breathing out, that out breath can release, we can let go of things that are kind of rattling around in there that you don't necessarily need. Um, the same way we can do with, um, it's a cycle of things we acquire and then we discard. I mean, just as we would buy an article of clothing and perhaps it may be our favorite piece of clothing and we wear it a lot and eventually it wears out and we move on. Or even it doesn't wear out, we just maybe it's not appropriate for us anymore. We might pass it on to someone else who might then be able to use it. Um, so even things that are worn out, someone can use, right? The masks that I've been making, I have been recycling strips from T-shirts to do the ear loops because they're soft and stretchy and they don't irritate you like elastic. Um, and in the course of this, I realized there's a whole industry around the world that uses old T-shirts, either brand new or used, and cuts them into strips, and they make yarn from them that people use for various different things, which I didn't even know about. But what a great thing, right? Because you see all this clothing being produced over and over and over. What's going to happen to it? Not everybody, people literally can't wear that much. It's too much. Um, so here's a way to reuse it. So if no one ever let go of their old T-shirts, how could there be T-shirt yarn? Um, if we cling to what we know and what we have forever, we'll never be able to move on to the next thing. And what we are holding on to won't be able to maybe be what it is meant to be for the next stage. Um, so letting go is an important and vital part of everyone's progress here on earth. Um, you may feel like it's a loss, but it's nothing but a transformation. Um, it's a progression to the next thing. I think, and I always get these quotes wrong, but there is a quote, um, and it's a Buddhist quote, but it's about that one of the important things we're here to learn is how to let go gracefully, how to um, allow things to happen as they are meant to happen, instead of constantly feeling that we must control every step of the process, digging our heels in and refusing to accept when something is over or something new is really trying hard to begin and we won't let it. So, how do we learn to let go? Right? It's very easy um, to say it, and right, some things are less difficult than others. So, getting rid of an old T-shirt, that doesn't seem like such a stretch. Although for some people it is very hard. Right? Some things have people can get very sentimentally attached to objects, and that can be a big ask. So um, this observation that we do, right? We'll learn what's hard for us and what might be easier, and start with the things that are easier when we kind of train ourselves, right? Just like we do with asana, we can do that with other things. So we start small, do the things that feel easier, and notice the benefit from that. Notice how you feel, and as you get better at it, then you can tackle some of the bigger things. The other thing that would sort of go with that is working on that sense of focusing on the spirit, right? Um, Knowing that we get our strength and our support from within. It doesn't have anything to do with how many T-shirts we have or anything else that we might own. It doesn't have anything to do with the relationships that we may have or may not have. Um, Marriage and children and all of these things, family, they're all beautiful things. But as we all know, things change. People come into our life and they pass out of our life. Um, they are beautiful things to enjoy, but again, we put all of our uh, cannot put all of our focus on that. We can't expect that to always stay the same because it's going to change. Um, so what do? We hold on to what won't change. That is our strength. That is our support. That allows us to let everything else unfold as it should, without, you know, feeling, broken. Um, and we will, right? We will feel broken for a little bit, because that is also how it works. But we'll be able to come back up. So letting go, um, we can get better at it, right? We can work at it. We can. Many people have gotten very good at it, and maybe not. They wish they weren't so good at it. But it is one of those things that practice improves. But it's also one that, we're shifting the way we think about things. Um, when you know what's important, you don't tend to get bogged down with some of these small things. And the other thing that we talk about with yoga in terms of, letting go is, instead of focusing on what's happening, what is being lost, as we might feel, what comes next? Focus on what's next, right? Because there can never be a next if we don't let go of the now. So keep your eye on what's next. Okay. So yoga, that's what's next, is some asana. So let's let go of this and move on to the next thing. All right. So we're sitting up, shoulders back. Breath in, and then let's drop the chin down toward the chest. Move your head around, make a big circle. One way and the other. Back to center. Take a breath, lean forward, and then we're moving around. One direction and then the other. Back to your seat. Sitting up, arms wide. Take a deep breath, hands together in the front. Inhale wide. Exhale. Inhale, arms wide. And exhale, hands together. Interlace the fingers. Lift the arms, gaze up. And then hands down by your side. Inhale, lift. Lower. Lift. And lower. Lift the arms up. We're going to bring right arm down, reach across with the left. Switch sides. Back up. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And then forward. Right hand on left knee, left arm behind you. Sit up tall, take a twist. Back to center, switch again. Moving to the right. back to your center. Let's walk the hands out. Coming back up, hands behind you, fingers pointing away from the body. Squeeze the shoulders back, gaze up. And back to your seat. Tabletop. And let's move through cat-cow. Lower the belly, lift the head. Moving here. Inhales and exhales. And then sitting back on your heels, child's pose. Moving it back up. Tabletop to downward dog. Walking it out a little. Then step the feet up to the hands. And we're here in a fold. Moving up. Slowly. Standing tall. Take a breath in. And out. Inhale. Lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back with the right. Set your knee down, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat, stepping back. Downward dog. Inhale, high plank. And lower down. Inhale, we're lifting up head and chest. And lower. Inhale, lift. Lower. Last one, lifting up head and chest. And lower. Coming up, tabletop to downward dog. Take another breath, and then step right foot up. Drop your left knee, arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Step the back foot up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, stepping back with the left. Set your knee down, arms overhead. Hands to the mat. Moving back, downward dog. Inhale, high plank. Lower down. Lifting your head and chest. Lower. Lifting head and chest. Lower. One more, lifting head and chest. If you want to come up, upward dog, you can. Moving back, downward dog. Take one more breath here. Then we're stepping left foot up. Right knee down, arms overhead. And then hands to the mat. Step the back foot up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lifting. And back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, we've got left foot stepping back. Press down with both feet. Arms up overhead. Warrior one. We're going to bring both hands behind you. Airplane arms, reaching back. We're stretching out over that front leg. And then bring the hands down to the mat. Maybe we're folding over the leg. If that's too far, you're going to be up here. That's fine. Again, we're just trying to kind of straighten that leg and fold over as much as we can. And then we're going to walk the hands around, turn the feet so that we're facing the side of the mat now. And we're either hands on the floor or maybe hands at the waist or on the legs, whatever you want to do. We're just going to hang out here for a little bit. Breathe in. Hands back to the waist. If they're not there already, we're going to start rising up. Press down with the feet and the legs. Come to stand if you feel lightheaded. Hands up over the head. And then we're going to do another fold, but we're going to roll, bring the hands back, right? So kind of sliding The hands from here going toward the back, squeezing the elbows towards one another, shoulders back. Take a deep breath, lean forward. Now you're probably going to only come about halfway because it's hard to keep the arms back. And then rise back up. Release your hands. Let's bring them up over the head. Interlace the fingers. Flip the palms. And then arms back down to the side. Turn, so we're facing the front. Right leg is out, left leg behind. Let's just interlace the fingers here. Draw the palms towards each other. Shoulders back. Deep breath. And fold. And then keep your hands behind you. We're going to lift up about halfway. So you still got the hands behind, leaning into that right knee. Bend a little bit maybe so you're not super locked with the knee. Shift the weight over on the right side. And then we're going to start lifting up that back leg. So you might just lift it a little bit. You might lift it a fair amount. If you need to touch down, do it. Just see. Some days are harder than others when it comes to balance. So just explore, where are you today? And then you can set the foot down, back foot meets the front, arms up overhead, and back to mountain. Breath in, and breath out. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, right foot steps back. Press down with both feet. Arms up overhead. Warrior one. And then we're leaning out. Arms come back by your sides. And then you bring hands down, folding over the leg, either down here or further up. Keep breathing. And then we're going to walk the hands around and turn the feet so we're facing the side of the mat. Another fold here. You could have hands on the mat. You could walk them back in between the legs, kind of pulling the body down a little further. Just see where you are today. Where do you have some flexibility? Hands to the waist and rising up. Take a breath. And then we're going to walk in about shoulder width. Shoulder width, yeah. Maybe a little wider. See what works for you. Hands together. Take your deep breath. And then we're bending the knees, lowering down into Alasana. So you might have feet flat on the ground. You might be up on the heels or up on the balls of the feet so the heels are up. That's fine. You might be only halfway down. That's okay. Just keep holding it as much as you can. It's really good. You're not just stretching the hip flexors then, but you're really building a lot of leg strength, which is super. One more breath. Then back up. Release the hands, and we're turning to face the front with the left leg out, right leg behind. Interlace your fingers. Shoulders back. Deep breath. And then fold forward. You might have a bend in that front knee, right? Things are tight. Better to bend a little to give yourself some room so you can fold more. Press down with the left foot. We're rising up. Oh, we're only coming up halfway. Sorry. Hands stay behind. But you see, you guys thought I forgot. I almost did forget. Shifting the weight into the left foot. And then we'll see about lifting. And breathe. Play around with this. If you need to set the foot down, do it. Try again. Don't worry. Having your hands behind sometimes there's a certain element of fear with that. But remember, you can always bring them out if you need to. And you shouldn't be that unstable, right? If you're feeling that unstable, don't lift your legs so high. You don't want to be in a position where you think that you're going to fall down. But if you are and you do, you'll be okay. Right? We're not doing anything too rough here. So just moving with care and awareness. So then we've got the foot back down on the mat. We can bring the arms up overhead and back to mountain. Take a breath. Okay, couple more balance. Tree, stand on the left, bring in the right wherever it goes for you today. Nice and upright. The body, shoulders back, gaze is steady. If you feel solid, you might extend some arms, but that's sort of the last thing we're worried about. And then everything back, we'll switch. So we're standing on the right. We've got left knee rotated out, shoulders back, steady gaze. If you feel like you want to extend the arms, you can. But, you want to make sure everything else is really steady. That's got to be your focus. And then bring everything back to the mat, bicycle out the legs. From mountain, we're just going to lift up the right knee. So if it's in your practice to do a little more, catch a hold of the foot, you can, right? I don't think I can do this today, but we're going to try. Catch the foot, nice and upright. And then if you could extend the leg, go for it. I'm not there today. That's okay. So sometimes as you go through the practice, other things are happening that will let you know, this other thing might not work. So, we still give it a try because you just never know. Our mind makes values sometimes that, or valuations, I should say, sometimes that really aren't true. So you got to try it and see. But if it's not going to work, it's not going to work. And then we're setting that foot down, switching, knee up, maybe catch the foot or toe, steady here, maybe some extension, whatever works for you. Find the steadiness, right? It's okay to experiment and to try some different things, but you also want to find some steadiness. So, see where you are and then stick there for a few breaths too, just to give yourself some ease. And then everything back to the mat, bicycle legs. And we're going to come back to the top, arms up, overhead, deep breath in, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, we're stepping back, downward dog. Inhale, coming forward to high plank. And then on the exhale, we're lowering down. Head turns right, arms by the side. Take a few breaths. Back to center. Let's set up for Cobra. So we'll have hands about chest height, squeezing shoulders back by your side, elbows in. And then we're going to start lifting up, head and chest. Tops of the feet press down to the mat. And we're going to lift the hands. And then lower down. Head turns left. Bring your head back to center. We're going to have the arms stay by the sides. Press the hands, palms onto the floor or the mat. Tops of the feet rest on the mat. We're going to lift up head and chest, arms and legs. lower down. Let's bring the hands out in front. Maybe one hand on top of the other. You can rest the forehead or the chin. Bring the legs a little wide on the mat. Breathe. So if you have any thoughts, any kind of negative feelings or thoughts that have popped up, let that breath, let the inhale surround them, and then the exhale push them out of the body. And then we're moving again, so we're going to come back up, tabletop to child's pose. And then tabletop to downward dog. Stepping the feet up. Come down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Deep breath in. Fold forward. Come on back up. We're going to do cow face. So we'll have the left leg under to start. The knees pointing out. We've got the right leg on top. Some version of this. One hand on either foot. Take a breath. And then folding forward. So you just want to feel that stretch through this right thigh, the hip. If you feel that, it doesn't matter really what your legs look like. We're just trying to get into position where we can get that stretch. And then back up. Let's switch legs. Right leg is underneath. Left on top. Take a breath and fold. Come on back up. Both legs out in front. Inhale, lift the arms, exhale, fold. Making your way back up. Let's bend the right knee and bring that foot next to the left thigh. Take a deep breath. And then we're going to reach the left hand down toward the foot, folding forward. Back up. Switch legs. And we'll do the same thing except reaching the right hand down toward the right foot. Back up. Both legs out in front. One more fold. Inhale and exhale, fold. And then walk your hands back up the legs. We're going to bend the knees, soles of the feet to the mat. Give yourself some space and moving back. Resting on the mat. Take a few breaths. And then maybe draw the knees into the chest. You do some circles with the knees. Moving in one direction and then reversing. So we're getting some movement in both ways. And then let's hold the knees here, and we're going to do the same sort of thing with the feet, right? So we're rotating, going one direction with both feet. And then reversing, so we're going the other way. Yeah, and you're probably going to get a lot of like snap, crackle, and pop going on with that. Both feet down to the mat. We're going to bring right ankle up on top of the left knee. You may stay here. That right hip is very tight. Or you could bring the left thigh in closer to the body. Interlace the fingers behind, just kind of draw it in closer. Keeping the head and the shoulders on the mat. And then let's switch. Same thing. You might be here, or you might bring that right thigh in closer to the body. And then let's set both feet down, ready for bridge. Heels back, close to the body. Hands are by your side. Take a deep breath. And then we're pressing down, hands and feet, lifting up. Then lower down. Soles of the feet together. Knees apart. Find some rest here. Knees back to center. And we're going to bring the right ankle on top of the left knee again. Arms, goalpost arms or arms out to a T. Take a breath, and then we're lowering the left knee down, and the foot is going with it. You might set your gaze to the right. Then back to center. We're going to switch. Take a breath, and then we're moving the opposite way. And back to center. Let's hug the knees in. Rock a little side to side. And then extend the legs straight up. And then lowering, however you want to get there. So we're resting on the mat. Finding a comfortable place. We're going to breathe. Feeling steady and relaxed. Let the breath wash through you like a wave. Just like how a wave moves things around on the beach, the breath can carry things out of the body that you don't want anymore, that you don't need. Thoughts, feelings, we get to choose. Right? Letting go is about choosing what is important and what isn't. Where are we going to put our attention? We can't keep track of everything. We can't hold on to everything. So what is important? In yoga, we put great stock in seeing things as they are. So we are constantly discarding old pictures of ourselves, old beliefs, old things that we thought were constants, right? And we can get the impression sometimes that things are very much constant, right? Um, Up until just a few months ago, I think most of us felt like we had a pretty good understanding of how our year was going to go. We had plans. We, you know, probably knew, what we wanted to do for the summer or next winter. We could probably make a pretty fair guess that it was going to be just like last year or the year before. But clearly, that's not how it is. Things can change in a moment. So we're living through um, a time of change. Um, we can be angry, we could be sad, we could mourn our old life, or we could just accept how it is and embrace what's new, what's good. Um, Either way, we won't stop the change, um, but we can work with it or we can fight against it. Um, Fighting against, it's again, it's like the tide. You could hold your ground on the beach, um, but the tide is coming and it's going to come up over your head if you don't move. If you don't move with it, make adjustments, do what you need to do to um, work through the rising tide. Um, we've been very lucky, right? We've had a lot of years of where we had the illusion that we were in control of everything. Now we're facing the reality that that is not the case. That there are many things out of our control, and that's okay, right? We can live with that. We can live with that uncertainty. Many people in the world have always lived with that uncertainty. Um, we have been very lucky to be kind of in this time and place in history where things were very safe and secure and predictable and all of that. So um, now we're back to normal, I guess. Um, but this is good. Um, there are bad things that are happening, to be sure, as there have been and will be forever. Um, we may see more of them now, and that may feel distressing at times. Um, but know that those things have always been there. We may have just been able to turn away. We may have not made it our business to know about them, and we may not have had to know about them, but now we do. So, what do we do about that? You know, we look to our yamas and our niyamas, and we move accordingly. Um, and when we feel adrift, if we feel unsure, look within, find that spirit. Um, it will carry you through good times, hard times. Um, what I remember is that as humans, we are so adaptable. We're so strong. We're really built for these times. Um, in times of ease and great abundance, people get lazy. People get greedy and selfish, and they don't really care about other people because they don't need to. They think they can. It's all about them. Um, it's when times get harder that people realize that um, we are all connected, and there needs to be an exchange. Just like we talked about with letting go, um, there has to be an exchange of coming in and going out. You can't take and take and take forever without giving back. It simply doesn't work. Um, so if you don't find a way to make the exchange, the universe will make that exchange for you. And just, I think we spoke about it the other day, that idea of helping. If you don't let people help, tell them what to do, they may do something you don't want. It's the same sort of thing. Better to make your choices than have your choices made for you. So, letting go. Um, it's, um, it becomes a practice. It can be a practice, just all by itself. Moving a bit, fingers and toes, hands and feet. If you feel like stretching, you could do that. And then making your way up to a seat. We'll have hands together, breath in and out. Thank you for taking some time for yoga today, for sharing it with us here. And I hope you have a really wonderful Saturday. Namaste. Well, thank you for coming to class. I won't be here tomorrow because it's Sunday, and I'm going to be working on my shed. So, see how that goes. I hope you have a good weekend. You find some project or activity that is enjoyable, and you will be rested and refreshed to come to class on Monday. I will be here. You're welcome, Dora, and you're welcome, Dave. Thanks for coming to class.